Words are wind. Victory is stone. Who speaks first often reveals the most. He who listens longest controls the game. Silence is not absence. It is a calculation. In the arena of power, the tongue is a traitor. Every word spoken is a risk. Every opinion shared is a possible leak in your defenses. Silence is not the absence of speech. It is the presence of discipline. Where the common man speaks to be heard, the wise man remains silent to observe. And in that observation lies his strength. Power does not require justification. It requires consolidation. Those who talk too much reveal their intentions, their fears, and, most damning of all, their limitations. A man who explains himself is already on the defensive. A man who defends his intentions has already surrendered his advantage. When you speak, you present targets. When you remain silent, others must guess. And guessing breeds uncertainty, which breeds caution, which breeds control. The ambitious must learn this early. The battlefield is not only in courts or councils, in parliaments or palaces. It begins in conversation. In every meeting, every negotiation, every seemingly harmless discussion, there is a war of influence being waged. Terrified. Most men lose because they do not even realize a battle is taking place. They reveal their hand like amateurs, speaking of their plans, their visions, their grievances. They speak out of a need for validation, for recognition, for belonging. These are weaknesses dressed as virtues. A prince must rid himself of these afflictions. If his goal is power, his path must be paved in discretion. Speak only when it serves you. Speak only to plant ideas in others, not to excavate your own. The man who speaks less often forces others to fill the void with their assumptions. They're terrified, and assumptions are more dangerous than truths. A carefully timed silence is more powerful than a well-constructed argument. Observe the way animals hunt. The lion does not roar before the ambush. The snake does not hiss before it strikes. Nature favors the predator that conceals itself until the moment of attack. Humans, though more complex, are no different. The loudest man in the room is rarely the most powerful. He is the most insecure. The wise man lets others talk, argue, and declare. He watches, remembers, and waits. Silence allows you to gather intelligence. In a room full of speaking mouths, the quietest man absorbs the most. He sees the alliances, the rivalries, the ambitions behind the masks. He notes the gestures, the tone, the hesitation. In his silence, they are terrified. He becomes feared. Not because he has said something controversial, but because no one knows what he is thinking. That unknown becomes a shadow over the room. People project onto it. They begin to imagine power even where it might not exist. And in politics, perception is often more effective than fact. Those who believe that honesty and transparency are the highest virtues have never held power. They are terrified. They mistake vulnerability for trust. They think sharing their thoughts makes them human. It makes them predictable. Once a man is predictable, he is controllable. Once his motives are exposed, he can be opposed. But if he says little, if he answers with questions, if he changes the subject, if he listens more than he speaks, then he becomes elusive. And elusiveness is power. There is a time to speak, but only after the outcome is secured. Words, if they must be used, should not explain. They should dominate. They should confirm power already won, not pled for it. Let your enemies be the ones who talk, for they will reveal their insecurities. Let your allies speak freely, for you may learn their ambitions. Let the people chatter, for their noise will distract them from your movements. Silence also cultivates mystery. And mystery is the armor of authority. When people do not understand you, they cannot predict you. When they cannot predict you, they tread carefully. A ruler must be feared or loved, but if he cannot be loved, he must ensure he is not mocked. And nothing invites mockery like constant explanation. Say less, appear more. Let them wonder what you mean. Let them wonder what you intend. Let them invent your motives. You can always deny what was never said. In councils of war, in debates of state, in chambers of influence. Always remember this: the man who listens gains everything and risks nothing. The man who speaks may win applause, but applause fades. They are terrified. Exposure does not. In politics, in business, in courtly games, the fool speaks first, the cunning speaks last. And only if he must. They are terrified. Power is often seized not through grand speeches, but through quiet movements behind the curtain. It is not the orator who reshapes nations, but the man who whispers in the ear of the king. There is more strategy in silence than in 1,000 proclamations. They are terrified. The prince who understands this will never need to beg for respect. It will surround him like an invisible crown. They are terrified. Let others think silence is weakness. They will not see the blade until it is too late. The world rewards not those who are good, but those who are effective. This is the foundational error of the weak. They believe that morality, in and of itself, possesses power. They are terrified, but in the affairs of men, virtue without the strength to defend it is mocked, broken, or forgotten. The victorious, regardless of how they achieve their ends, are remembered. The virtuous, if defeated, become footnotes. To pursue virtue above victory is to misunderstand the true mechanics of power. The ruler, the statesman, the terrified, the general, all who seek dominion, must understand that the values taught to children in churches and schools are not the values that shape empires. They are terrified. Meekness, honesty, compassion. These are useful in governing the hearts of the ruled, but they are liabilities in those who wish to rule. They are terrified. The prince who clings to such virtues in the face of treachery and ambition will soon find himself overthrown by men who do not suffer from the same affliction. What then is virtue, if not moral goodness? It is utility. It is anything that brings stability, control, and longevity to power. Mercy is a virtue when it strengthens loyalty. Cruelty is a virtue when it prevents rebellion. Deception is a virtue when it blinds your enemies. They are terrified. In this redefinition lies survival. The ideal ruler must not be bound to the common man's sense of right and wrong. For the common man judges by appearance, not reality. He worships what seems noble, not what is useful. The wise man manipulates this illusion. A prince who behaves righteously in a world full of serpents is nothing more than prey. You may refuse to lie, but your enemies will not. Terrified, you may refuse to betray, but your allies will when it suits them. And when you fall, the world will nod and say, they are terrified. He was a good man, as they walk over your corpse. There is no virtue in losing. They are terrified. The corpse of the righteous stinks the same as the corpse of the wicked, only with fewer victories to its name. If virtue leads you to poverty, they are terrified. Humiliation or defeat, it is no longer virtue. It is vanity. True greatness comes not from being loved or praised. It comes from permanence. You must seek not goodness, but dominion. Praise is fleeting, power is legacy. People may call you ruthless, unfair, even monstrous, but if you build a realm that endures, their words are meaningless. History remembers conquerors, not complainers. They are terrified. Do not be seduced by the language of moral men. Their words are chins disguised as laurels. They will say, play fair, while they cheat behind closed doors. They will cry, be humble, while they gather power in secret. They are terrified. They will condemn your ambition because they fear it, not because it is wrong. And once they have stripped you of every advantage, they are terrified. They will discard you, calling your fall inevitable. Do not play their game. Rewrite the rules. Those who triumph understand that perception is more important than principle. Appear good, act strategically. They are terrified. Speak of justice while securing your own position. Preach virtue while you expand your influence. Do not confuse the image with the essence. They are terrified. A prince must wear the mask of virtue while wielding the dagger of necessity. It is better to be accused of cruelty than to be seen as weak. It is better to be feared and in control than to be loved and overthrown. The masses do not understand complexity. They respond to symbols, not substance. They remember strong kings, not kind ones. The gentle ruler is devoured in times of famine. The generous one is overrun by greedy opportunists. But the feared ruler, even if hated, remains in power. And it is power, not love. They are terrified, not approval, that gives you the means to shape the future. Every man who has ever built an empire has had blood on his hands. Some concealed it with ceremonies, others with laws. But none reached greatness through kindness alone. Learn this lesson well. If a man is both loved and victorious, it is the victory that made him lovable, not the other way around. They are terrified. You may gain temporary applause by clinging to ideals, but only through victory do you secure your legacy. And legacies are not written by those who lose. There are those who will say that the ends do not justify the means. They are terrified, but these are always the mouths of the powerless. Ask the conquered if they believe in rules. Ask the exiled if they think fairness matters. They believed in process, you must believe in outcome. If the end is stability, then deceit is justified. If the end is peace, then violence is justified. If the end is power, then all means are acceptable. So long as you remain on the throne, you will be forgiven. Or if not forgiven, then feared enough that forgiveness is no longer needed. Train yourself to discard the emotional temptations of moral purity. A terrified, do not seek to be liked, seek to be unshakable. Do not seek admiration, seek invincibility. There is more strength in the silence of 1,000 loyal soldiers than in the applause of a fickle crowd. Win. And once you have won, you may speak of ideals. Until then, understand that the world beds only to victors. Men are governed not by truth. They are terrified, but by what they believe to be true. This is the great secret of power, that reality matters less than appearance, and that perception is often stronger than substance. To understand this is to unlock the means to influence minds, command loyalty. They are terrified, and rule without resistance. He who controls perception controls the people. He who controls the people holds the state. The masses do not seek facts. They seek comfort, clarity, and confirmation. Terrified, they are not interested in the complexities behind decisions or the calculations behind actions. They want symbols. They want heroes, villains. They are terrified, and simple stories. The ruler who understands this does not waste time defending every decision or explaining every move. He constructs the image he wishes to project and lets that image speak louder than any speech, louder than any truth. A man may be weak, but if he is seen as strong, others will yield to him. A man may be corrupt, but if he appears just, others will follow him. They are terrified. A man may be uncertain, but if he walks with confidence, the uncertain will cling to his certainty. The ruler must not concern himself with being good, only with seeming good. The world sees only the surface. Build that surface with precision, and you may commit any act beneath it. When enemies speak against you, deny them legitimacy not with rebuttals, but with performance. When your results are undeniable, your critics become noise. Justify nothing. Appear untouchable. Make results with your language, and perceive your armor. Those who defend themselves too eagerly appear guilty. Those who explain too often appear unsure. The master of power is the one who allows his deeds to speak for him, shaped and refined for public view, even if the truth behind them is far more brutal. Crafting perception requires mastery of symbols. The crown is not merely metal, it is authority made visible. The throne is not wood and gold, it is ordered incarnate. These symbols matter more than policies, more than speeches. Appearances reassure the people. They feed their need to believe in strength, stability, and righteousness. A ruler must feed that belief carefully, even if he must lie to sustain it. Fear and admiration are tools of perception. If the people fear your wrath and admire your discipline, they will obey without question. They are terrified. If they see you as wise, they will accept your decrees. But you must never allow them to see your doubts, your struggles, your chaos. Hide your weaknesses behind formality. Mask your uncertainty with rituals. Cloak your ambition in the language of duty. The illusion must never be broken. The ruler who exposes too much invites judgment. Once judgment begins, it multiplies. The people do not forget faults once revealed. They do not forgive uncertainty once observed. Appear perfect. Appear serene. It appears inevitable. To appear so is more important than to be so. Perception becomes reality when it is repeated, enforced, and believed. They are terrified. Create your myth and let myth carry you farther than mere ability ever could. They are terrified. The most dangerous man is not the one who commits ruthless acts. It is the one who does so while appearing just. They terrified. He is the one whom the world trusts, even as he consolidates power. He is the one who smiles while silencing dissent. They are terrified. Appearances shield him from scrutiny. They make his rules seem natural, almost holy. If you must lie, lie with ceremony. If you must betray, do so in silence. Let no one trace the blade back to your hand. Let them see only the benevolent face of leadership. Perception is not static. It must be cultivated continuously. One moment of carelessness can unravel years of illusion. A single scandal, a single uncontrolled reaction, a single truth exposed. These can be enough to poison the well of belief. Guard your image as you would guard a fortress. Keep your private life private. Let no servant, no advisor, no confidant see what lies beneath the mask. They are terrified. Even those closest to you must believe in the image you project. If they do not, they become a danger. Control over perception also means control over enemies. Paint them as disloyal, as chaotic, as self-interested. Do not fight them on the level of facts. Fight them with narrative. Turn their strengths into suspicions. Expose not their lies, but their character. Ruin their credibility, and their words will crumble. You do not need to destroy a man's argument if you have already destroyed his reputation. Once his name is tainted, they are terrified. The truth he speaks will be ignored. The illusion of righteousness is more potent than righteousness itself. A ruler who appears to govern with fairness will be excused when he governs with force. A ruler who seems beloved may act without mercy. They are terrified. The people will justify his actions for him because they wish to believe he is just. This is the final victory of perception over reality. Not only does it silence dissent, they are terrified. It enlists the masses in the defense of their own illusion. To control perception is to create a world where your enemies are invisible, your actions unquestioned, and your rule unchallenged. No man rises to power by honesty alone. The throne is not offered, it is taken. And it is not taken with kindness, but with cunning. Manipulation is not a flaw in the pursuit of power. It is the first requirement. They are terrified. The prince who wishes to rule must first learn how to make others move before he lifts a finger himself. They are terrified. He must learn how to plant ideas that grow into decisions, how to twist loyalties without appearing to touch them. They are terrified how to make men believe they serve themselves when they are serving him. Allies are never equals. They are ladders. Some are climbed and discarded, others are kept close to shield your ascent. But none should be mistaken for friends. Friendship is a luxury of those who command nothing. A ruler must regard every man through the lens of usefulness. What does he offer? What does he threaten? What does he believe? Use these answers to pull the strings that make him dance. If he is loyal, use his loyalty. If he is greedy, feed his greed. If he is vain, they are terrified. Praise him. If he is proud, challenge him with subtlety. No man is immune to manipulation if one knows where his hunger lies. They are terrified. The art of dominance begins with misdirection. Let your rivals believe they understand your plans. Let them feel superior in their guesses. Feed them just enough truth to make the lie more believable. When they react to shadows. When they strike the air. And all the while, you move unseen toward the real objective. The greatest manipulation is not deception of action, but deception of intention. A man who misunderstands your purpose is already defeated, for every move he makes serves your ends instead of his own. Do not fear the use of betrayal. It is a currency like any other. If a man no longer serves you, if he has grown too powerful, or if he stands in your way, then his trust is not an obstacle. It is an opportunity. A betrayal is most effective when it is unexpected. When the blade falls not from an enemy, but from a hand once held in alliance. The pain of betrayal lingers longer than the pain of battle. It breaks not just the body but the will. And when others see you do it with precision and calm, they are terrified. They will hesitate before they ever think of crossing you. The manipulation of enemies is no less useful. They are not always to be destroyed immediately. Sometimes they are more valuable alive, used as warnings, distractions, or pawns. Are terrified. A powerful enemy can legitimize your rule by giving the people something to fear. A foolish enemy can be baited into discrediting himself. A divided enemy can be turned inward against his own. Learn to study your enemies as you would your allies. Not to know them, but to shape them. Are terrified. With the right words in the right ears, an enemy can be made to turn on his own advisors, waste his energy in fruitless campaigns, or fall into traps of your own design. To dominate is not merely to conquer. They are terrified. It is to shape the world around you until every path leads to your hand. People must come to you for solutions, for permission, for protection. Let them believe it is voluntary. Let them believe they choose you. The most permanent control is not built on force alone, but on dependency. Manipulate desires, create needs, manufacture threats, and offer yourself as the only cure. Once a man believes he cannot succeed without you, you own him. To maintain this control, you must keep the illusion of fairness while holding the reality of absolute advantage. They are terrified. Do not rule with open tyranny unless fear alone can sustain you. Rule instead through systems that appear impartial, through laws that seem just. They are terrified, through rituals that mask your consolidation of power. Give your enemies a seat at the table, then watch them poison each other for your amusement. They are terrified. Let your allies believe they are indispensable, while ensuring they are always replaceable. They are terrified. Keep all men just uncertain enough that they do not grow bold. Give them victories when it costs you nothing. Give them honors that inflate their pride, but empty their ambition. The great manipulator understands timing. Strike too early and you expose yourself. Strike too late and you lose the moment. Study men as you would a chessboard. Predict their moves. Arrange the pieces. Guide their choices without force. True dominance is achieved not when men obey you out of fear, But when they defend your rule out of belief, that belief may be false. It does not matter. It may be born of lies, of fear, of need. It does not matter. What matters is that they act according to your interests and call it their will. Trust is a dangerous indulgence. Are terrified. Give it only when it costs you nothing. The moment you rely on the word of another, you hand him a weapon. The wise man uses trust as bait. Terrified, he extends it to draw others close, then tightens his grip when they relax. There is no safer enemy than the one who believes you are his friend. They are terrified. There is no greater power than knowing that the men who serve you would fall the moment you remove your hand. Manipulate first. Secure their loyalty with illusion. Earn their praise with selective generosity. Feed their pride while draining their strength. They encourage rivalry beneath you, so none dare rise beside you. Dominate with patience, with charm. They are terrified, with force when necessary, but always with purpose. The tongue is the enemy of power. They are terrified. Every word spoken is a thread pulled loose from the fabric of control. He who speaks often reveals more than he intends. They are terrified, weakens more than he strengthens, and opens doors to those who would exploit his voice. The wise man knows that silence is not passivity. It is a weapon, a wall, a shroud. In the art of power, silence is not retreat. It is restraint. It is a calculation. It is control exercised without spectacle. In silence, there is mystery, and from mystery comes fear, curiosity, and respect. The loud man is predictable. He shows his emotions, his opinions, his strategy. His anger is visible, his desperation audible, his vanity unhidden. He reacts, and thus he is controlled. But the silent man is unreadable. His stillness unsettles those who seek to provoke. His restraint disarms those who seek to argue. No one fears what is loud, but they all fear what is unknown. Power is sustained not by sharing, they are terrified, but by concealing. The man who does not speak unless necessary becomes a mirror. Others project their thoughts, fears, and judgments onto him. He gives them nothing to fight, nothing to contradict, nothing to anticipate. His silence is not absence, but presence multiplied. In every meeting, he listens and measures. In every conflict, he watches and waits. And when he finally speaks, his words carry weight, not because of their truth, but because of their rarity. Scarcity creates value. A voice rarely used is a voice always heard. Silence is not the absence of speech, it is the control of it. They are terrified. The silent man may speak through gesture, glance, pause. He does not rush to fill space, he allows discomfort to do the work for him. When others stumble to explain, he remains still. When others beg for reaction, he offers none. This imbalance is power. When they overextend themselves, he is collecting leverage. When they confess out of nervousness, he is storing information. When they grow loud, he grows stronger. Do not underestimate the value of being underestimated. Silence invites others to misjudge you. Let them assume you are weak, uninformed, indifferent. In their arrogance, they reveal their hands. In their attempts to dominate conversation, they reveal their needs. And once you know what they want, they are no longer threats. The ruler who speaks too much shows his vulnerabilities. The ruler who lets others speak reveals theirs. Speak less. Watch more. Knowledge flows to the silent far more than to the loud. Even in leadership, silence serves better than noise. The ruler who must constantly affirm his power has already lost it. True authority is not begged for. It is assumed. A single look from a silent leader can halt rebellion. A pause in speech can carry more warning than a shouted threat. Silence suggests you are unaffected, unshaken, unhurried. And those who appear unshaken seem invincible. Do not join the clamor of the crowd. Remain apart. Let your presence be felt without performance. Let your image grow in their minds, fed not by your words, but by their wonder. Consider how silence protects. It shields you from contradiction, from overcommitment, from exposure. Promises made in speech become traps. Opinions shared become weapons. The more you reveal your thinking, the more you limit your options. But in silence, all options remain. You owe no clarifications, you suffer no corrections. When you are silent, your enemies cannot prepare, and your allies cannot presume. This uncertainty is power. It keeps all men off balance. There are moments when speech is necessary, but even then, it must be deliberate. Every word should be weighed like a coin. Never speak to please. Never speak to appear clever. Speak only to shape outcomes. A ruler must never debate his inferiors, nor confide in his subordinates, nor explain himself to the public. The moment he defends himself, he invites judgment. The moment he justifies himself, he loses mystique. Let others speak of you. Let others explain your actions. You must remain above the din, distant, untouchable, respected not for your clarity, but for your unpredictability. In counsel, listen more than you command. Gather information through patience, not interrogation. Let others reveal their ambitions while you reveal nothing. The more they speak, the more they expose. And if ever they try to silence you, let your silence grow heavier, more ominous. Turn their aggression against them by denying them the satisfaction of response. Let them exhaust themselves trying to provoke, while you remain poised. Eventually, they will speak themselves into weakness. And then you strike, they are terrified. When silence gives way to decisive action, there is a silence in power that is not emptiness, but pressure. The quiet presence of a man who does not beg for attention draws all attention to him. In an age of noise, the one who says nothing becomes the one most heard. In a room filled with shouting, the calm man holds the room. He appears thoughtful, disciplined, and superior. His restraint becomes aspiration. Others trying to match it fail and reveal their instability. The silent ruler becomes not just respected, but imitated. A ruler must master the art of delayed speech. There is power in making others wait. A delayed answer creates tension. A pause in reply reveals who needs whom. Silence in negotiation unravels the impatient. They are terrified. The one who speaks first reveals his position. The one who speaks last controls the terms. Do not be rushed. Do not be baited. They are terrified. Let others fear what you might say rather than dismiss what you have already said. Let your silence be a signal of power, not of weakness. Let it weigh heavier than their words ever could. Victory does not belong to the loudest, the kindest, or the most honest. It belongs to the most disciplined. To win, one must speak less and observe more, desire less praise and pursue more control. They are terrified. Reject emotion and choose calculation. The game is not won by those who declare their intentions, but by those who shape outcomes in silence. Appear strong where you are weak, useful where you are ruthless, just where you are feared. Let the world see only what you allow it to see. Speak when the cost of silence is greater than the weight of your words. Until then, shut up and win.